Week 9 saw literally something radical at Apex. We ran the track backwards. Starts were always going to be interesting, heading at high speed into the very tight turn 4 with cold tyres. Although the initial start was clean, the proximity of cars coming out of turn 4 and the open nature of the reverse entry into the bus stop meant that it was highly likely that two cars would be going in side by side, and we were not disappointed. Joe ceded the place to Steve, but remained close on his tail. With the drivers trying different lines on an unfamiliar layout, there was a small opening for Joe heading into turn 1, with predictable results. With a small field, there was a gentleman's agreement to have a full course yellow any time there was an incident, allowing the close racing to continue. A single file restart heading into turn 4 should have been safer, but seeing Max had missed a gear change, Steve missed his braking point completely in his eagerness to make a pass and took Joe out. Karma can be a real bitch. The next restart was held coming out of turn 6 in an attempt to have the cars more separated going into turn 4. This time, Joe got the jump on Max and was challenging Alex for the lead. Then it was a case of monkey see, monkey do, as both Joe and Steve took evasive action exiting the bus stop. That move gave Joe the lead, and perhaps he should have given the place back. But then he and Alex traded very fast lap times for the remainder of the race. Although Alex could get close, he was never close enough to make a pass, and Joe eked out a small lead and was looking like he would take the win. That is until he got on the gas a little early in the tricky 11-10-9 complex and spun with only a few laps to go, and Alex cruised to victory with Joe behind and Steve in a close third spot. The second race of the week saw similar close racing and multiple restarts. After a clean initial start, things began to unravel pretty quickly. After showing it was possible to go 3 wide into turn 3, Max and Darren collected each other in turn 2, which meant yet another full course yellow. Following the restart into turn 4, Stone went a little wide, which allowed Steve to make a pass on the inside, but Stone was able to get on the gas quickly and pull alongside heading into the bus stop. In shades of race 1, Steve was forced to go to the left of the tyres, retaining the lead. Again, he probably should have given the place back, having gained an unfair advantage by that move. The close racing carried on for some time until Stone saw his chance heading to turn 1 and, in an eerily similar incident to the first race, clipped the rear of Steve's car, spinning into the Armco. The resulting trip to the pits put Steve a lap down, but never let that get in the way of good racing. Stone and Steve traded places multiple times in the remaining laps, but the win went to Stone, followed by Max and Darren. Week 10 saw a single race at Apex featuring 3 very different 60s classic races with similar power-to-weight ratios, but very different handling characteristics. Neither the Mini nor the Big Heeley were a match for the much more powerful but heavier Mustang on the straights, but the Mini in particular was much more nimble and quickly made up the deficit under braking and in the corners. The technical layout was much more suited to the lightweight, low-power front-wheel drive car, which could easily hold the inside line on the tight corners and tuck inside the bigger, heavier cars. These three cars require a very different driving style to modern cars, with vintage tyres, unsophisticated suspension, and absolutely no driver aids. The Mini in particular required throwing the car into the corner, getting the car to turn a little bit sideways, and powering out as much as its tiny engine could. With the lead seemingly changing multiple times on each lap, it was a toss-up which car would win. But with Alex mastering the technique of balancing the slide through the corners, the big Healey was victorious, with the Mustang with John at the wheel in a close second place. But that was not before the Mini had probably the most spectacular accident of the year, trying to cut the bus stop in a valiant last-ditch attempt to catch the Healey, only to be launched up and over the leader and crashing out in the desert. Let that be a lesson to you all. Keep to the left of those tyres. Next week, the Radicals are back running under the lights on the technical configuration, this time in the right direction. We'll see you then.